Alright, hello everybody, I'm Generically Named, and as we said, we're about to play Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, the DLC Intermission Any Percent run. But we're going to call it Yuffie Percent from now on, because that's a shorter name, and I like it more. And let's just go right in. I guess I give a countdown, and then on 3, 2, 1, go is when we'll start. So 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so right off the bat, we're going to change a battle setting to equip Ice Ninjutsu. If you played the base game, you know your weapons each give you an ability, and Yuffie's base weapon gives her Ice Ninjutsu, which changes the element of her range attack, which I'll explain a little bit later. But right now, we have to set up this battle in a way that that one rat lives. He should not have. Oh, what? Oh, he's one who's supposed to live. My bad. So we're trying to avoid this little dance that she just did. In the first 4 battles, she does a victory fanfare. We don't want that, because that takes like 2 seconds. So here, now we're doing this so we can get the ability. Now we are mashing run, and that cancels her little victory dance. We have to do this 2 more times. Another set of rats and a wyvern coming up. This one is usually pretty free on the animation skip, but the actual setup can leave a little rat alive. So we have to wait for him to dive in, which he almost always does first. He did not do it. But he's on the ground, this should hit him, there we go. Oh, the one rat fell out, this is unfortunate. Have to finish him off quickly.
All in a day's work.
Unfortunately, I did the melee windstorm, which is the ability you're going to see most in the game. When Yuffie has her weapon out and you use Windstorm, it does a very strong, very quick AoE attack. But when she's holding her weapon, she does a very slow, weaker version of it. Also, PS5 has a nice save and load time. So there's a couple instances where it's faster to save the game and then load it than it is to wait out an animation. Here we would have waited for this elevator to come down, but that takes like 10 seconds. It's faster to save the game, load, and have it open. Alright, these guys might split up, so let's see what happens. Okay, good. The attack together. We do this. Oops. Have to cast. There we go. Now I have the elemental jutsu ability. Ooh, I got the dance. This one's also normally free. So 3 out of 4 dances. This is a rough start for me. Here, now we have elemental jutsu learned, so I can swap to a different weapon, which we won't get for a while, but now I'll always have this ability. Now, I was mentioning before how her range, her windstorm is a different ability if she's holding her weapon or not. When you press triangle in battle, Yuffie will throw her shuriken at the enemy, and it'll stick to them and just do damage to them over time. And then her basic attack is elemental jutsu. She shoots little ninja magic at people. And then if she's holding it, her basic attack is just like a melee attack. She just swings a lot. So a lot of this game is getting familiar with it and knowing when you have your shuriken out and when you don't. So it's fairly easy to get mixed up and not know where your weapon. Perfect block. First time I'm gonna see this. When you block, and you do it just before you get hit. Just one little random. If you're gonna do charge, that's fine. This might hit me because that dog ran forward, which is very awkward. Normally he stays back and you just do double headbutt block. And then I was trying to get that range windstorm out before the throat clamp came out, but it didn't and he grabbed me. Alright, now we have a relatively long break for the run, 8 minutes. Obviously, I'm moving the whole time, but it's just basic movement and some text mashing, and then it'll force walk and talk, the one of this game. But if you played the base game, you know there's a whole lot of walking and talking. What is coming up that is gameplay is the mini game of this game is called Fort Condor. You can go around and challenge a bunch of people to
Must have gotten used to it.
game of like Clash Royale.
I'll be working for Shinra next. Nice
Where
try, Midgard.
basically you and your opponent have 3 bases, and then you spawn units and they automatically go forward and fight and destroy the bases. In the run, we have to do this once in the tutorial of the mini game. The guy we fight is very bad because his units are just like inherently weaker.
So, Titya,
What we are there's a bit of RNG here because you start with 6 units, but your hand essentially has 4.
What exactly is a
We want the
W
wolf unit to be in the starting hand.
Think of it as a code.
So we have a 2 out of 3 chance for that.
Still can't believe they
If
sent a
it's
kid
this
to do this job.
5th unit, not so bad. If it's
Kick
6th
your
unit,
ass.
that's a very
Seeing your
big
fresh
time
face is
loss.
all.
Oh, don't worry. I know exactly what you're saying.
Give me a break, will ya?
And yeah, here's the lore where we meet all the new characters of
Ladies
the
first.
DLC. These
When they do, we're gonna treat them to a feast. I can almost taste your pizza now, Jesse.
guys are the main Avalanche. The people we know, Barrett, Tifa, and Jesse and such, are
You look
an
kinda
off
I
branch.
just want to make sure.
If you had an idea, but
And these guys all basically have no personality, except Neo
Harsh.
if you have an
and
instant-
Ziggy a bit. They're here just for the tutorials, and then they go away. Here we're about to enter our Fort Condor.
Let me go over them.
Gotta skip some tutorials. Alright, so let's see where our wolf is. I guess guard dog. He is at the very top. That's actually the best. Somewhat less. We have to see. Okay, where he goes left. So we go the opposite way he does. Then we go forward and we shoot magic. And he did not respond with his magic, so this could go poorly. If he does his attack right away and shoot your fire, he'll just shoot Blizzard at your base in response. He didn't there, so the chance he would have done it onto the dog, and then we basically would have lost. But now we're done. The dog is the fastest and strongest unit, but it only attacks buildings. But since all of his units and bases are so weak, they can't kill
Damn, you
the security dog very well. So as long as you heal it once and you place minions to block his minions,
Sure about that?
Materia.
then it just wipes out the entire base.
Bring it on.
Alright. Now we're just doing
You're welcome.
mashing for a while.
Where is that?
If you have a
What
donation,
did you-
feel free
Of
to
course, you shouldn't
interrupt me on that, or
As for what to do
we'll
once you
keep
make your way to the
rambling.
building, that's not
You know
you
about
More than happy to
It's
interrupt
that
you.
thing.
Hardly
We
ever. So what do you
don't
say?
currently have any
I really don't.
donations, but just a reminder to everyone
You
that
ever
we
feel
do
like
still
some
have
virtual
a
treat?
couple of incentives and bid wars that are
You
open.
must be tired.
We have the
Well, then,
Metroid
how
Prime
about we talk
Hunters
actually?
first time
All I
showcase
know
run,
is
which is at
means
28 out of
guys.
$150 and 12 hours to get your
You won't have
donations
to
in
wait.
for that
Just
one.
Be careful.
And then the Pokemon Sword Shield
Someone's done
Pokemon
much
Choice
wrong.
bid
Let's
war.
just say
It's still just the
there's
$1
lots of
between
love,
Squirtle and
like bars full-
Squirtle,
where
Squirtle,
everyone
and
can go
Bulbasaur.
see the-
And that will be closing at the end of
That's
Bioshock
how it's
2,
gotta- it's
which
called
is
the
in a
hack.
couple runs'
Interesting,
time.
huh?
So
I don't
not
know
much
you.
longer to get your donations in for that one.
You're taking down.
All right.
Come to think, people call him, and he
I think
just
after
might be
this I'll
someone
probably
I gotta
donate
find
for
And deserve some to tell me. All
Bulbasaur.
this talking is giving me a headache. I'm gonna
Alright,
go
so
do
they
some
introduced
recon.
us to all our
I
side
won't
quests,
stop
and we have to
you.
go
Just
essentially
don't go too
activate
far,
them,
okay?
and then we can continue on with the main quest. One of them is... Oh, sorry, that my cat in the background did something. But anyway,
What?
one of the quests is you go around and collect turtle posters,
Nope.
which gives you a nice reward. It gives you the magnifying materia, but it takes way too long.
Bummer.
Obviously, in speedruns, you can't take too long.
This here is now it's up to you.
That prize?
Then the other side
I'd
quest,
gladly part with
I guess
some
it's
honors
already
and come out.
technically activated. It's Fort Condor. The other thing you have to activate is you can do a VR battle with Chadley here, who lets you fight Rama, the one summon of the game,
Yeah.
My apologies. My name is Chad.
I'm Yuffie.
which
So,
also does not do much for the run.
Very
But we
well.
do get to see Chadley do that
When you
little
feel
dance
suitably
there.
prepared,
Sonon's
Alright, and now we're about to get
I know.
our only other party member of the game, Sonon. Unlike the base game, you cannot actively switch to Sonon, you only control Yuffie the whole time. You can do shortcut menus to tell Sonon to do certain commands, but the main gimmick of this game is you press L2, you enter synergy mode, where if you do a basic attack, either melee or range, Sonon will kind of mimic you and do the same type. And also turns
You guys all
Windstorm into Synergy Windstorm. And Yuffie's other default ability is called Art of War, where she does like a series of melee slashes, and it becomes Synergy Art of
Pick up
War.
your IDs.
And these two abilities
There's
are
no way to
very
get
important.
topside without him. But I thought GJ was getting our high
Synergy Art of
What
War
happened to
is the
that?
biggest
Yes,
nuke
but
you have in the
those are
game.
different.
You use
It
it
takes
to
more than
do the
one
most
ID, or
damage
even
and
two to
wipe out
survive in
several
this town. Don't
boss
forget, Midgar
phases
was
or
built by
group of
Shinra
enemies at
for
once.
Shinra. Those tyrants!
Put the claws away, boss. At least while we're in Shinra
Is I guess I'm gonna explain this. I'll come back to it in a second. When you fight enemies,
So
they'll have a second bar underneath their HP bar. It's called their pressure bar, and just attacking them in general usually fills it up. But when you pressure them, which is usually like attack them with their weakest element or something, the bar will fill up faster. And when you fully fill out the pressure bar, they become staggered, and it becomes the stagger bar. Naturally in staggered, they don't do anything, and they take 160 extra damage.
Then what was that stuff on the news?
Well, I guess they take 60% more damage. It'll say 160 on screen. And Synergy Windstorm increases that damage up to 240. So it's used to, again, mostly for bosses, to push a phase or get a lot of damage out. And it's also good. It's like a little tornado. So it's good for also picking up the trash enemies we fight in between bosses and killing them quick.
They couldn't care less about collateral damage. Long as Shinra
Doesn't come out that often because Yuffie's normal range Windstorm is usually strong enough as is
We want to save it
for the
from
non-boss
Shinra.
enemies.
Look around. 9 out of 10 of the people living
This
here
is
are innocent bystanders.
here we're about to
We
actually
can't
enter
level
some
their
fight,
home
but
to
this is
take
also
down
another
one
instance where we can do
company.
save and
That
load.
company almost leveled
If
our
we
home.
save and load
They've
anytime
gotta
during
learn their
this,
lesson.
all the dialogue we
Yeah,
see
I
here
get
goes
that.
away, so it's just a
Gotta
slow
admit,
run.
I'm surprised you agreed to
I
work
don't
with
do
us.
it here
We're
because
just doing
I
what
like
we
to
think is
buy a
necessary
materia from this
to build a brighter future. That's all there is to it.
vending machine.
In other words, you're working with us, so we don't work with your old buddies.
And that essentially eats up the time that we'd have to wait at the end. Because when we
Can
get
you
to the
table
end,
this for
we're still
later,
not going to be able to
please?
advance
Not sure now's
quite
the
right
best time
away.
for heavy topics.
We have to wait for them to
Couldn't
actually
agree
stop
more.
talking, so that's where the save and load
Consider it
comes in.
tabled.
There, now we got some menuing. Biggest menu in the game. There's not a whole lot of it in this game. You're pretty set once you do this. After this, it's just you pick up a new thing here or there, and maybe swap some materia around. Oh, I did thunder.
So, like
All right,
after we
this is a
see
fairly
someone,
RNG fight right now. We're about to
Not
fight
just
3
by
of
sneaking, not only
Don
will
Corneo's
prove that the
goons,
gist of it-
and it really depends on what they start with and how quickly they act. Basically, we're just going to do deadly dodge attack until they're all being pressured. Okay, we got it right away. Now I just have to wait for Sonic to get a bar. There we go, he had his bar. And here's another thing we're going to see a lot, this little like ninja kicking thing. The bunny hops. This is the fastest way to feel pressure in the game. So a lot of times we attack until people get into a pressured state and then hop on them until they're fully pressured.
So who were those creeps anyway?
And I got very lucky.
Corneo's
They
Tyrant Scouts.
all
They'll say
immediately
and do
got
just
pressured
about
after deadly
anything to
dodge
get
attack.
unsuspecting
Sometimes it
girls
takes up to
back
5
Don's
until one of
mansion.
them will
I
get
thought
out of their
it
like
was
animation that's not
Guess
allowing
you'd
them
have
to be
be a
pressured.
scumbag to build a place like that.
Oh, and how do you know what it looks like?
I saw it while I was scouting the area.
Now a little bit more walking, but not that much. And on the way, we're gonna pick up another accessory called the Kindred Cord. Whoever has it equipped basically gets refunded 50% of their ATB bar when they use a synergized attack. We throw that onto Sonon next time I open up the menu. Because, as I said, since we can't control Sonon, the fastest way to get ATB in this game is just to attack, just to
Why does
press
he
the
need us
square
to
button.
hurry?
But we can't, actually select Sonon and control him and press square. An AI rarely, they don't attack very often. So his ATB fill is very bad.
More like.
So right now he has a first strike materia. He comes with it by default. That starts the battle with more ATB. And then
Hey, that's Gigi.
we are going to equip the Kindred Cord on him. So basically, anytime in any battle, we essentially will have the ability to use a synergized attack right away, and a little later we'll be able to use 2 synergized attacks with just a bar and a half.
Whatever it was, he probably did it for us.
Well, now I
Later in the run, we do get a materia that allows us to like actively give on ATB, but since we don't have it yet, we keep the first strike on him. Even though Yuffie does most of the damage, so we do want first strike on Yuffie. For now, it's not worth it. Alright, Sonon also does not get another weapon this game. He has 3 of them, but most of his damage comes from doing... There's a materia called Synergy as well. And when I do an ability, he will cast the
I'll give you that. Piece of shit.
spell linked to his Synergy materia. So most of his damage comes from him using magic after Yuffie does something. Like, Beast Fight will probably be cleared off by him casting Fire. See, he cast Fire. It missed, apparently, but that should have finished them off. And we're going to see it again against some guards. There's 2 sets of guards we're going to fight. It's the same strategy both times. Immediately deadly dodge to knock down the weaker one, and then perfect block the stronger one who always responds with a melee attack. He might take a second. I actually did not... Oh, there it is. Luckily, he swings twice, so if you miss, you get a second chance. There's the fire. I have to thread a needle here. I missed. But now we get this tutorial. You can avoid that tutorial the whole game if you never throw your shuriken at an obstacle. There's a couple instances of this where, like, to advance in the actual running part, you throw shuriken to like hit predetermined or like switches on the map. The game expects you to... At the very beginning, there was that like ladder we climbed. We climbed that so we could throw the shuriken and knock down something to create a bridge. The game kind of expects you to immediately throw and just hit a big obstacle. But now, sadly, I lost a couple seconds because I hit that those boxes.
Hey, do you think Niall's alright?
She's a local, remember? She'll be fine.
And we have a short conveyor here, and there's going to be a longer conveyor here for any plugs you'll want to do in like 2 minutes, give or take.
Like, they were all the same as the ones I fought.
Yeah.
Actually, 3 minutes, give or take.
But
Am I
Right
being
now-
summoned?
has changed a lot.
No, I'm giving you a heads up for a
Oh,
summon.
okay. Okay.
There's a much
okay.
longer conveyor belt in like 3 minutes.
Alright.
Yep. Alright. Now we're gonna see a mechanic. It doesn't matter too much, but when you perfect block something, Sonon will usually respond with a... this is... There we go. Oh, he got knocked out. It's like, if I perfect block in synergy mode, he will cast Twisting Lunge. Wait, no. Oh, I need to bring back... He'll respond with Twisting Lunge, which increases the, like, pressure of enemies.
Not too shabby, Sonon.
And that's really the only instance of the game where it matters. And most of us running didn't even really know it was a thing because it just never popped up.
Like our ticket across.
There, we picked up Yuffie's 3rd weapon, technically. The 2nd one we actually used. I just wanted to make sure I didn't have the shuriken on the grenader. That's another thing. Losing track of your shuriken is another problem you can have, because the ranged windstorm is centered on where the shuriken is.
Whatever.
So if it's on like one enemy and you're expecting to range windstorm another, you can just completely whiff. And when you whiff with your ATB cast in this game, you lose a lot of damage because that's most of it. Melee attacks or basic attacks don't really do a lot.
See that massive structure up ahead? That's the pillar the troopers were talking about.
And what we did pick up, we're about to go into a menu to equip, because now we have... I did these in the wrong order, but we have the weapon we're going to use for the rest of the run, and the accessory we're going to use for most of the run. Some people use it for the full run. I like to swap a little later. Here, hold on. Menu. So Steel Reaper is like the melee weapon of the game, or the physical weapon of the game. We equip this. We equip this, and the Gozu Drive, and then we put the Kindred Cord on him. So the Gozu Drive is it increases. Ooh, I forgot to increase UP's HP. This shouldn't matter too much in this fight, but all right, we're letting Sonon attack him a little bit in this case because I need him to build up a little bit of ATB. Now he should get pressure. There it is. We'll get it in a second. There it is. All right, so here we go. The Synergized Windstorm, and that 160 is going to lead up to 240. And then a Synergy Art of War should normally kill, but since I forgot to heal Yuki, yeah, it's going to be a little shorter. So the Gozu Drive increases your damage based on how much HP you have compared to your max. So when you're at max health, you do 50% more damage. And I was probably doing like, 20% more there. So from now on, you always want to make sure Yuki's at as near full health as possible before any fight. The accessory I swapped to later is it does that, but in the reverse for your MP. So you'll do more damage with the less MP you have. I like to swap to that because in later fights it's harder to control your HP because we're never going to stop and heal ourselves in a battle unless we're about to die. But you don't really regain. You can regain very small amounts of MP over the time in battles, but it's basically it's negligible amounts. So it's very easy to control just having no MP. So I'll basically always know I'm doing max damage. Alright, now we're gonna fight another little mini boss kind of. If he's at full enough HP. There's a lot of strats for this guy. I just go for immediate Art of War, Synergy Art of War, and then that does most of the damage, and then just kind of pelt him as I run towards the exit, and a ranged Windstorm will finish him off. So build up Yuki's ATB, get the Art of War. See, that's a lot of his health. Now as I just run away, throw out some attacks. I'm just running towards the exit of this arena. And once I get enough, a ranged Windstorm will finish him off. If not, the fire does. And there, now we obtain the Mizu Drive, which is the other accessory I was talking about. And here is where we get most of our items for the game. It's the conveyor belt. It's storing a lot of boxes. If I did not get the tutorial before, I would not throw in certain areas because I wouldn't want to risk possibly getting that tutorial. Since I already get it, I can just throw wildly. But now if you want to do any more plugs, please feel free to.
I can plug as much as you would like. How much time would you say we have?
Minute and a half.
Okay, well, let's talk about the charity then. LEAD is a substance use prevention organization that believes young people are capable of making good decisions. The core reason LEAD exists is to significantly reduce drinking, drug use, and other risky behavior by youth, while working simultaneously to eliminate the root causes of these issues in the future. To learn more, you can type !charity in chat, or go to linkingefforts.com. LEAD Mental Health's Text for Help hotline is the only youth-focused mental health crisis text hotline in the US that is available 24/7, fully anonymous, and staffed by licensed mental health counselors. To find out more, go to linkingefforts.com/textforhelp-app. How much more do you need? Any more?
30 seconds.
Okay, I'll do one more. Speed Stuff for Charity is a speedrun marathon team dedicated to annually raising money for charities. We've raised over $6,000 in our 6 years doing marathons, and we plan on doing this for as long as there's interest. We've previously benefited St. Jude's, Doctors Without Borders, and the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
All right. Thank you for that. And one thing about this section is the large boxes actually have set items. There's 2 elixirs and 3 mega potions here we do want to grab for emergencies. Everything else is just throw wildly and hope you get high potions. And I probably got a good amount. Now let's use some of them. There we go. Then you get some stats that usually get scored or something if that's going to pop up. But now we're coming up to the final boss. I guess really the only boss of Chapter 1. The Gigantopede. The first part feels like a on-rails fight. Because you knock him down and HP gate him in like phase 1 before it basically does anything. And then you just have to watch him leave the arena till phase 2 starts. But the gimmick of this guy is it's a giant metal centipede, Gigantopede.
So many guards.
And the head is only weak to is only able to be hurt by physical, and the tail is only hurt by electric.
Let's keep it tight, boss. We can't afford any more mistakes.
Until the final phase. So
Understood.
we just beat on the head melee style for the first phase. Synergy Art of War to destroy the head, and then oh wait, I gotta go menu. Now we put First Strike on Yuffie, and we put Synergy Electric on Sonon. Because as I said, this guy is weak to electric in a sense, and at most enemies in Chapter 2 are weak to electric. We want him to be doing, I should be saying Thunder, that's what it's called in this game. But that's what we want him to be casting from out. So yeah, we hit the head, we do Art of War. Oh, he actually got his tail swipe out, that's weird. So normally we would not see this ability because this would happen right away.
And one to grow on.
And then we just do some Art of War.
Fury of concerning.
One thing about Art of War that does come up is the first time you do it, it's weaker than the second time you do it within like a certain amount of time if you cast 2 in a row, which includes the synergy version. So hold on, we gotta get our lightning ninjutsu on.
Do your work.
And he's HP gated here, so we can't do anything more. We're just waiting for him to leave. Go. Building up ATB while we wait. Now he's gonna come out here and be on the wall for a while. And then a phase that comes up is he shoots out a bunch of little drones, and he won't come down until you kill all the drones. But luckily, they all come out in a group. So if you do Windstorm, as they come out, they all die at once. Here we go. Bring it back. Wait for they're out. They kind of chilling for a second, then they're all dead. If you don't get them all at once, it can take a long time to clear them out because they run around the arena and like fly around, and they're no longer grouped up. So you just have to hit them one at a time. So now he's doing this. We have to wait for him to come down. He can hit you on the way down, so it's synergy.
So now you come crawling down.
Now we next phase it. Now we're going to destroy the head, and now his head is weak to thunder, and we're basically going to one-shot him with a series of attacks. We're going to use the Steel Reaper's ability, which we'll actually, I guess, learn here. It's called Banishment, and the more abilities you use over the course of a fight, the stronger that ability gets. So since we used all those Art of Wars earlier, and some Windstorms, it got leveled up to Banishment 3. It upgrades every 2 abilities, or every 3 abilities, from Banishment 1 to Banishment 2 to Banishment 3. And it does take the element of your Jitsu. So that's why we casted Lightning Jitsu early on, even though we didn't really do any ranged attacks. Because we wanted Banishment to have the Lightning property, so we could do that large nuke on him.
Can't believe those.
Oh right, that's not a cutscene, this is just a text spam. That's from a side quest earlier that we kind of skipped the trigger on. Because it doesn't expect you to not go to him until you're also chasing Zegia. So the Zegia cutscene like overrides that one. When we're already leaving, they're like, oh hey, clear out this Drake or whatever he's wanting us to kill.
I think we're good here.
And that's chapter 2 or chapter 1. So on to chapter 2. Now we infiltrated the Shinra building, but we are immediately caught, essentially, and thrown into Scarlet's like weapon laboratory. Now we gotta fight our way through her like trials. And she's just mostly toying with us.
Look at this.
Here is a
Weapons
little
here, weapons there.
bit of a forced break as well.
They're ready for
Just a
some
minute as they
serious
talk.
action.
I like to fill the time by throwing the shuriken and trying to destroy every box. But if you want to pop in and talk about, is Bulbasaur still winning?
Behind bars, you mean? Not well, if the government's got anything to say about it. Good on them.
I didn't summon him, or I didn't summon her properly.
Mind laying off them a little?
You know what? Let's roll. Not exactly my favorite topic.
This is normal
Things that make me
difficulty.
mad.
I saw a comment in the chat.
My God, you are dead.
Oh, I didn't break every box. I failed.
Luckily, I know exactly.
I don't even think I get a web. You like at best. I think I've gotten 3 high potions out of destroying every box here.
Just don't go dying on me.
Okay, but now we're doing 3 fights in a row, though the second one is the easiest fight in the game. Right here is a little... We want to immediately target this, but it likes to target the things on top. So do this, fill up the bar, cast Thundera, cast Energy. Do this. Where are the 2 sweepers? They're the 2. Alright, there we okay, they came down. Behind the sweepers are also 2 shock rays, little flying robots. They start up there, but they slowly come down. And normally you just attack the sweeper until they're down and they're in range of the ranged windstorm. Sometimes it, unfortunately, oh here's the easy fight because I do 2 of these real fast. Alright, now the third fight is, you see these droids, they're gonna become active. Those 2, and then there's 2 in the back that pop up. This is a little difficult because they're so spread out that it's, you want to like kill them as fast as possible, but you can't just spam ranged windstorm, which is how we do most of our fights. We can do it right here, then we can do it here, and this is where the problem comes out. If that one droid decides to leave his little buddy there, we only kill 1 at a time. He did. So now we're gonna do this. We're just gonna cast Thunder, finish that off, and see what's left on him. Fortunately a lot on him, but there we go. That wasn't so bad. That's about as normal as you get.
Credit where credit is due.
At this point, it's more so you get lucky if they don't split up. Those first 2, as I said when I did the blind range windstorm.
You may now leave.
Now Scarlet taunts us a bit more. I'm trying to just get Sonon in place, because we're gonna go this way. But he can sometimes take a while to actually go there. See, there we go. See, it's taking him a while. We're not losing time over it, but you can lose time because he just takes forever to actually walk that way. Because he has to go over here, get in place, and then launch Yuffie up, so Yuffie can knock down the ladder. A shout out to Chapter 9 of Final Fantasy VII, in what I consider one of the unfortunately worst parts of that game. Where you move all the hands and you have to knock down a ladder. Like, I'm fairly I could make most of those climbs. I'm pretty sure Cloud and Aerith could as well. Here we go, a quick little fight between 2 soldiers here, or not soldiers, little like guards. Unfortunately, they can dodge, so... And dodging in this game basically just makes enemies invincible, and they can dodge the entire range windstorm. They just have to wait out and actually see the word dodge, so I know they've already done it, and then I can do my windstorm. Here's another save and load, once we see some text. This is a very short one. You have to be very fast to actually save time. So you get like a second or 2 if you do it right. And here's what I talked about before. This is the materia called Ninja Cannonball. When you equip it on either of them, and you, in synergy mode, hold block and press triangle, Yuffie will like jump to Sonon, and then Sonon will throw her at the enemies. And when she hits enemies, Sonon gets about like 2/3 of an ATB bar. So now we can actively give Sonon ATB. And here's the one fight in the game we can actually flee. I gotta get a little healing on Yuffie here. There we go. And then I have to equip the ninja cannonball. I'll do that once I land. I was supposed to do it before. I actually have to wait for him to come down. Alright. Alright, so here's our first instance of ninja cannonball. Get real close to him. Do this. Get hit by that, unfortunately. Now I'm gonna wait a second just for him to dodge. There we go. Because he likes to sometimes dodge and get out of the way of that final hit, like that. Wait out that. Let's just do it again. There we go. Now he's ejecting. In the base game, you could actually kill these guys in a one shot. Because they're mechs piloted by people. And you could actually destroy the mech and then the guy would not eject. But now they get HP locked. And they'll always eject. And unfortunately when they eject, they self-destruct, so they do a lot of damage. As you see, that's why Sonnen suddenly has no HP. Which becomes much more of a problem in the second to upcoming fight, where you fight two of those things in a very small room. So it's very easy for Sonnen to straight up die, and even for you to get hit as Yuffie. Unfortunately, I ran into Sonnen there, but... Now we're going to do a nice little fight I like, where we actually use melee Windstorm, because since it's focused on Yuffie, it's a lot easier to control where it starts, and it also is a bigger AoE than range, so it can catch all these guards and knock them out, and then the last one is hit by whatever you're targeting, not necessarily what you attacked, is what the synergy attack goes off on. So you aim at the one guard that you don't hit, and Sonnen will cast Synergy Thunder on it. So I gotta actually heal up. Gotta max out Yuffie's HP, as I always said, and just gotta actually get Sonnen some health, because he will probably die in this next fight.
Go to town on these jerks.
Right, two cannonballs, get Sonnen his ATB. Oh, he doesn't quite have it. Okay, there it is. I'm gonna get hit by this. Oh, wow. Alright, you know what? Faster to restart. Luckily in this game, you can restart at any fight, so it's actually fairly, essentially easy to run, because it's forgiving in that sense. Oh my god, this is very unfortunate. Okay, this time I have to block out, so make sure I don't get hit by that. Sonnen did, but we don't care about his HP. Alright. But we got eject. It eventually happened. Sonnen's dead, but that doesn't really matter. Go eject in a second. And now there's another trooper. We can't really see what's going on, but I just base it on the targeting. Alright, that was a sloppy fight, unfortunately. It is very rare for that magic, the purple mech, to actually dodge your attack in there, because since it's such a small room.
Such tests are an invaluable part of the development process.
But the past is the past. Let's move on. So now we're doing another little arena or a gauntlet of fights of Scarlet's design. We pick left or right. It is fastest to always go left. And here I'm actually going to, I left Sonnen. I'm not fully healing him because I want to end up casting Cure in between fights, because I want to drain all of Yuffie's MP here. As I said before, we're using the Gozu drive, which is more damage with the more HP you have. But I want to swap to the Mizu drive, which is more damage with the less MP you have. And this is the best part to essentially drain all of Yuffie's MP. So now we just got to fight these guys. You just look at them and check. Luckily, they don't move at the beginning. They sometimes do, but very rarely. And you can mostly kill them with the ranged Windstorm. And then they'll put up a shield, and they're either immune to physical or magic. And you just check their shield and finish off the other one. Here's the last instance of actual magic attacks I do. I need 22 MP, so I actually have to pop an ether here. I'm gonna cast 2 Thundaras on this guy, and then I'm done with magic. Since I only need 22, it's actually a good time to cast a Cura here. And get rid of some of that. And Sauron still has a little bit more damage on him, so that's one more Cura or Cure I can do to drain more MP after this fight. Here, we're going to throw here, instantly lightning, go to synergy mode, and just attack him. He should get pressured before he gets to do anything. He might attack Sauron or whatever. Now wait for him to get fully pressured, and cast Thundara, and then Thundara, and then there's going to be a little bit left of... There we go. And now I'm done with magic. I'm going to hold off and hope I get 9 MP before the end of this, before I cure Sauron. To get down to 0 if possible. If not, I'll just cast Cure. And then, for the most part, I'll enter any fight with, like, at most 4 MP. Which is, like, 40, like, 3% damage. Alright, here's a very easy fight. We just dash up and Windstorm. Another use of melee because it's a bigger AoE range. You can just throw and range Windstorm, but sometimes the one in the back over here does not get hit. So I just always melee that one.
Selection confirmed. Initiating ordnance deployment procedure.
This fight is fairly easy because once this thing gets hit by a thunder attack, it like swaps modes.
Subjects approaching test site.
But it takes a really long time for him to actually do that. Because he like puts away these blades he's spinning around, and like by the time he's done, you've basically killed him. Go, throw, synergy, thunder comes out. Now he's like knocking down. He's gonna get up and put away his blades. But the next Windstorm already hit. You can see like there. And I only have 8 HP, so I can't do a Cura. I can do a Cure, which unfortunately won't fully hurt him. Or heal him, so I have 4 MP, so I didn't get to drain all the way to 0. Here we go, let's swap to our Mizu drive. Let's put Synergy Fire on. Now we swap to Synergy Fire, because the next enemy is actually resistant to Thunder. And more importantly, the next boss is Scarlet herself, and she's like riding a mech. And the gimmick on that fight is if you knock out Scarlet, the mech becomes pressured. And she is weak to fire, or at least the fire does more damage than This guy can unfortunately dodge your ranged Windstorm. So you have to like, when you throw, you actually have to look for the word dodge to make sure the dodge doesn't happen. But here we're waiting because when he gets up, if you don't have him staggered, he'll put up a shield and he's basically like immune for 10 seconds and then you have to attack him from behind.
My, how impressive. Seems I may have underestimated.
So 2 Windstorms, then just smack him a bit until he gets pressured and then ensure you pressure him. I guess before Scarlet, one thing I haven't mentioned is when we're doing ranged attacks, it's actually like a 1, 2, 3 attack, and the 3 is a big one, and there's a little bit of cooldown. But you can block in any time in between attacks, and that resets, and you can immediately attack with 1 again. So like the ranged attacks aren't as fast as like it looks. It's because you block in between. If you play casually, you probably just aren't blocking in between. And more importantly, Sauron's ranged synergy attack, the first 2 attacks do a lot of pressure, but the third one really doesn't. So when I want to pressure something, you're actually just doing 1, 2, 1, 2 over and over. Even though for Yuffie, her third attack does most of the damage. But anyway, here is Scarlet, as I said. So we're going to, we lock onto Scarlet and just attack her. We dodge the fire thing that comes out, and we're going to hopefully perfect block this coming up. I did not, no big deal. Now we do 2 Windstorms on Scarlet to knock her out. And now we start attacking the pressured Crimson Mare. We gotta get some ATB here. There we go. Nuke it down. Since I had to use that second ranged Windstorm, I'm not gonna get a good HP lock on this. for the next phase. So we're just gonna survive a little bit in the next one, but not a big deal. A gimmick with this fight that we're not gonna see is she equips these 2 large guns, but she can also equip a sword and shield. But we're never gonna see the sword and shield. I unfortunately did not get out of synergy mode, so that's actually not the worst. But it still does a lot of damage to her. And it also actually damaged the mech, so it probably actually saved me a bit. Because now the mech took a little bit more damage. Here we go, now we do this. Synergy Windstorm to build up that stagger damage. Stop. It's really hard to actually lock on to what you want this. Oh, this is actually not good. Okay, maybe you will see that next phase. The lock-on in this game is not the best, I'm gonna say. And at the beginning of that, I was actually targeting one of the weapons on her side. I don't think we're gonna see the sword and shield, but we are getting beat around a bit. Oof, that was an oof. But we got through it. I do want to heal a little. Alright. So another tricky thing here is these guys, if you let them get near you and like you're doing melee attacks, they tend to go invisible and become invincible and disappear. And we don't want that. So what you do is you go in synergy mode and run away to only do range attacks. And you go in synergy mode to also make Sonon do that. So they never go invisible.
I want to go back out there, but I don't think we've got a choice.
And then they also generally stay grouped up for the range windstorms. Right, here we go, throw out a cure. Now we retreated into a room with the VR projectors. We're doing all these VR fights. They're fairly easy. What's coming up is like a mini boss that can be a little tricky because it's the projector itself and it's invincible until you just destroy this like demon thing at spawn. And then you have a stagger bar worth of time to kill it before it becomes invincible again and summons a second demon. And you basically would loop through that until you kill it. But you can one-shot it as long as you have mostly two ATB bars on Yuffie and 1 bar on Sonon at minimum. So here he is. So the trick is just to pressure the demon as fast as possible and then build up ATB to prepare yourself to one-shot the projector. There we go. So now we get this, we get a bar on Sonon. We do Art of War to do a bunch of damage and pressure it. We get the pressure out. We unsynergize, so now Sonon will like manually attack and build his own bar. And we build up Yuffie's. There we go. Now our Windstorm to get the stagger damage. At 240, we throw out our Art of War. A bit more. Had low on damage there, but it died anyway. So we're about done. There's only one fight left, the final boss. We're going to fight Nero from Dirge of Cerberus. After we destroyed Scarlet's mech, he kind of went panic mode and summoned Deep Ground to take out the intruders. And that's who we were fighting before. Those were Deep Ground soldiers, and now we're fighting the second in command, essentially, Nero. This fight is hopefully going to look very simple, but if anything goes wrong, it can go very poorly. So we can do 2 attacks here, and then if this goes poorly, I will actually restart the fight. I was supposed to do a ranged Windstorm, but I did a melee one. So he might not be pressured long enough. Okay, he's still in. We're fine. So the gimmick on this, I shouldn't give it much, but the thing with this guy is you can interrupt most of his attacks and like his moving actions, and that will pressure him. If he's not moving or doing certain attacks, he'll block. So you just have to know which attacks he... In the first phase, basically if he's moving or does anything besides binding foil, you'll pressure him. Now we're looking for Protonic Surge and something that starts with a D, or just him moving, and that'll pressure him. Last phase, he's much harder in the last phase, so what I do is I just immediately Art of War, Synergy Art of War, because he'll always teleport to the middle. By always, I mean like 90% of the time. And that will stagger him, and then you just one-shot him. But if everything's building up to the last phase, because you want limits, so you need to stagger him 3 times. Otherwise, the last phase can go very slowly. So he does haste, I can't interrupt that, but he'll immediately start running at you. Oh, I missed it. Alright. This is a little unfortunate. I have to build up. I don't want to also when you... That was unfortunate.
Get your butt over here.
Ah, this is double unfortunate. Okay. We're restarting. Right. Attack 1, attack 2. So, the second phase in particular, it's very easy to accidentally overdamage him and push yourself into third phase. And if I don't have the ATB ready for that phase, it's very easy for that phase to go incredibly poorly. So I thought it would be worth it to actually just restart and lose the maybe 2 minutes there than it would be to have a awful phase. See, the mistake I made there is I didn't actually hit him while he ran to Yuki to do sweeping thrust. I missed the timing, so he didn't get pressured, and then I was accidentally in synergy mode, so I didn't do range windstorm, I did normal windstorm, which will not extend his like pressure time. Because how long he's pressured depends on the attack that hit him, but you can expend it with a ranged windstorm. So he got pressured by, I think, Sonon's fire in that last time. Okay, that is actually uninterruptible regardless, so I had to wait that out. There we go, Surge, wait out for the actual attack, and now it's that, turn on Synergy. There we go, now this is the like more proper version. Sonon's taking a while to hop, and he's missing, but it won't matter, generally. There we go. Now get a Synergy Art of War to press the phase, and then fill up the bar as most as possible. Ideally, I want 2 bars completely, but I'll take almost 2. So here we go. Now we're going to phase 3, where again, he starts up in the air, and most of the time he teleports to the middle, and either the Synergy Art of War will pressure him, or the follow-up Synergy Fire from Sonon will. And then we throw out our Range Windstorm to extend the pressure, to then stagger him before he can basically do anything. That is the worst. That is the one case where, right. And I was once again in Synergy mode. But yeah, Binding Talon cannot be interrupted. So that is actually the 10% I was talking about where you don't get the immediate stagger on him. So now I just have to watch him and try. And unfortunately, this is the problem. He starts teleporting all the time. And the worst part is when he teleports, it removes your like lock on. Sweeping Darkness is also not interruptible. We're gonna throw a potion on Yuki. This is a one-shot. Get out of this way. Just gonna hope that interrupts. It doesn't. See, this is why you want to like set up the fight. There we go. Are you kidding me? He dropped out.
Holding back.
I'm not even sure. Okay, well, normally what you do is he's already HP locked here, and then this will instantly kill him and finish the fight. But he's not going to die, so I'm going to have to finish him up a little bit. Okay, time's about to come up in like a second, by the way. There we go. Time. Alright. Well, a rough end there, but that was our Yuffie percent run for Final Fantasy VII Intergrade.
Good job. Just snuck in underestimate there, 54-40.
Oh, that's why I estimate, because sometimes if the final fight goes bad, it just takes time.
Hey, it was underestimate. That's what counts. Doesn't matter how much by.
I would have liked, a nice little quick 3-shot there on Nero, but I guess you got to see actual mechanics of the final boss. But thank you, everybody. Here we don't need to see the ending here, and don't acknowledge why only Yuffie's on the screen right now. But thank you, everybody. Had a great time. As I said, I'm gonna donate to Bulbasaur, I think. So if you want Squirtle, you're gonna have to throw in some money.